Today I'm going to show some amazing things about Garry Kasparov. Okay, his playing style. When I was a beginner, the first time I got a score sheet from the internet, and my mom gave me, and that was I think Garry Kasparov versus Karpov in 1984 match. So from that time, I like Garry Kasparov because the first impression. Okay, and his game with Deep Blue was so famous at that time. Okay, so what I want to show about Garry Kasparov is his very strong in understanding the compensation. Okay, because he attacks. We all know he attacks. He makes very powerful attacks and creates strong threats. But above all that, he understands compensation, the long-term compensation. Okay, so this game is with Anderson. It was played in 1981. So we can see how he plays chess. Okay, so the game went d4. Anderson went knight f6. Garry played pawn to c4. Black played e6 and white develops. Black plays b6. So this is the Queen's Indian defense. Okay, so here Garry uses the Petrosian variation. The idea is to stop the bishop coming to b4 and pinning the knight, and white is struggling for the center. So black went bishop b7 and white goes knight c3. So here the main idea is to push the pawn to d5. So black has to play d5 here. d5 is very popular and played many times. Okay, if they play bishop e7, now we can win the center by pushing this pawn. So this blocks the bishop and we can play e4. So in this game, Anderson played knight e4, trying to block the center with a piece. Okay, Garry takes, black takes, and knight goes to d2, threatening to push pawn to e4. So the bishop has to go either here or to g6. If they go bishop b7, we can go e4. And this looks very good. So they went to g6. And Garry in this game found that somehow there is something missing in this diagonal. So he plays g3, planning to play bishop g2. Black went knight c6. Now we have to protect the center. We can't play bishop g2 because they will take, and if we take, you can see the queen's mobility is really bad. So bishop c2 traps the queen, and also knight c2 is also another winning move. King goes to f1. We can take on a8, giving an attack here and an attack there. So he plays pawn e3. So black plays a6 and white plays b4, trying to get the bishop out. So black plays b5. This is a tricky pawn sacrifice. We take, they take, and now we can't take on b5 because this pawn is pinned. So white plays bishop b2. Now the pawn is under attack. So in the game they played knight to a7. Okay. So here normally if we play bishop to g2, they will play d5. This bishop seems to be very bad. So here Garry plays pawn to d5. I think before d5 he played h4, trying to trap this bishop since the mobility is not so good. So h5 and g4 is the threat. So when they played this, the slight weakness in the light square, slight. Okay, so he plays pawn to d5 to activate this bishop, and now you can see the compensation. He's playing with a very long-term compensation because this pawn sacrifice opens the bishop and also it weakens some of the light squares also. See, already the h7 square, h6 pawn slightly weakens the g6, and if this pawn also moves, f5 is going to become weak. So here black has to take. Even if black doesn't take, white has already got his bishop to play. So they took. Now on tempo, bishop g2. So black defends. Now white plays castles. Now the plan is to get the rook e1 and to open line against the king. So now the bishop on f8 is not having move here because you can see the g7 pawn is under pressure. So black has serious development problems. So black plays f6. Which weakens this. So white goes rook e1, trying to open the line. So now black plays bishop e7. Now you can see the g7 pawn is also weak. More light squares are weak somehow. So white plays queen to g4 and black defends. White attacks. Now you can see a lot of light squares are weakened. Like if one square gets weak, more are about to get weakened. Like, I mean, if one important light square gets weakened, like a lot of light squares gets weakened here. Here bishop h7, and he is aiming clearly for the light squares. You can see here. So pawn push, opening the line, attacking. So they take. Bishop can't take. So bishop took. Knight takes. So these squares are very weak now. So black has got a few light squares, but all this is going to become weak sooner. So they played knight c8, and he brings the a1 rook to d1. because if they play e6, it's going to, if they play d6, it's going to weak more light squares. So in the game, Anderson played rook a7, trying to defend. Now you can see Garry makes a very powerful attack, and all of a sudden all these light squares are gone. So knight takes f6 is the move. So in the game they took g f6, but if they take bishop f6, we can go queen g6. So king won't be able to go to g8 because it's a simple threat, rook e8. So king has to go there, and we can take on f6. Queen won't be able to capture because rook e8 is coming. Pawn takes. This pawn is pinned. So there's a strong attack on e6, rook e6. So rook e6, and there's no defense for rook f6. So in the game, knight f6, they took g f6, and white plays queen g6. Okay, now the coordination is really bad, and this pawn structure is also broken. So now Garry has very good compensation for the sacrificed material, and he plays bishop to c1, targeting the weak pawn. And black plays pawn to d5. Okay, and the important moment here is white never takes this pawn quickly, because this is a guaranteed pawn. So when you have a chance to take it anytime, so we don't want to hurry here. So this is one strong idea. Even a lot of grandmasters use these kind of ideas. When they get pawn or material, they don't take it immediately, but once it goes out of their hand, only then they go for it. So right now it's in control, so there's no need to take. So they played knight d6, d5. 1 minute. Okay, one small example. If, for example, if they play queen e8, now we have to take. If we don't take, then later we won't be able to take. So now is the time for us to take. So that's why Garry didn't take this pawn immediately. He's waiting for the right time to take. So black played d5, and the rook on h8 is also not protected. So he finds a way to reach the piece. So strong piece path, rook d4 and rook g4. Very strong. Rook left, rook is coming there. So Anderson tries to hold with knight e6. So knight f7 looks like the h6 pawn is going to be defended, and it looks like white has to take now. But Garry didn't take the pawn on h6. Garry played something even more strong. Can you spot it? g4, threatening queen g7 when trying to take the rook. So knight went to f7. Now the rook is defending the back rank. Queen g8 is one threat. If the rook is not placed on h8, then queen g8 will come, so rook has to stay there. And if knight moves, that will leave the rook on h8 unprotected. So he goes bishop h6. So after bishop h6, rook won't be able to take. We can see there's a mate on g8. No defense. And if they take with the knight, queen can go to g7, and the coordination is broken, so we can take. And after they move, we can take. We still have this h pawn. Also we are exchange up, and rook g7 is also coming. So in the game, Anderson moved the king to e8. Now we have to unlock this pawn. And also there's a powerful pin here, so the bishop went to g7. Okay, the rook is attacked. So rook g8, and this knight is pinned. So now Garry plays pawn to h6. And there's no defense for h7. So black resigned. So going back to the game, here we can see d5 is very strong. Okay, this pawn sacrifice, white has excellent compensation because the piece is coming to the play. So Garry is very strong in piece play, okay, and understanding the long-term compensation. So that is his major strength. Like he has won a couple of games, greatest games also he has played in history, and a lot of games you can see compensation is understanding for compensation is great. Like he always creates some complicated position, but then you can see his pieces are active most of the time. In most of his games, his major strength is piece play and understanding the compensation, that is the long-term compensation. Okay, so here d5 is having a very long-term compensation, and then bishop g2, c6, and they have weakness on the light square, so he created a strong attack on the light squares. Castle. So rook e1. So all this came. So we can see after e4, a lot of light squares are gone. So compensation even on the squares also, like for the sacrifice material, he has also got compensation. This bishop sacrifice is to weaken the light squares. So now he has excellent compensation on the light square and is winning here. And quick mobilization, very strong. So he got the position, strong position, and it's over. So strategically, black is lost.